So let's imagine that you are in a full on a demo day with in a room, full of investors and journalists. Guys are after a long day of meetings, and there are really a lot of them are really old people who, if they sit at the back, they can't hear much. And some of those journalists are just out of school, and they really don't understand a lot about technologies and investing in startups. The key message here is that people that you're gonna present to most of the time are going to be either falling asleep, or they're uninterested by, or they just get bored pretty quickly. So express your presentation and your idea in a simple way. Don't you use buzzwords, and don't use long sentences. I mean, the moment you are trying to put a lot of AI and VR and AR stuff into your presentation, that's the moment when they're gonna drift off in their dreams. And don't sell to your investor. I mean, the good investors, the good VCs, they will always try to internalize what you're saying. They don't have to be sold. They are actually people that have built businesses before, or they have exited businesses before. So they will internalize your your findings, your idea, and they will extrapolate that idea into their own vision, and they will think about how unlikely events will have to unfold before you reach that $1 billion company, like unicorn status, right? So they are very good sellers themselves. So don't try to sell to your investors. Just be yourself, be genuine, and lay out really to the point explanation of your business. So the three checkpoints for the VCs are really simple. One, do I understand that idea? In order for me to understand that idea, you have to be very clear and communicate in a simple way. So that's number one. Number two is that am I excited by the idea, right? Is the market big enough, or is it growing? Or there's so many clients out there, customers out there with that same pain, and you are the one that will solve the problem. And number three is that, do I like the team? Is the team experience? Do you have the motivation? Will you sacrifice your life and your personal life in the next 10 years in order for me to invest now, right? So just remember that running your company that is going to be funded by VC is totally something different than starting a company, bootstrap that, and have your own cash to invest and reinvest the profits in the company. That's totally different. If you are playing the VC investment game, you have to be in it for another 10 years, because the first round you're going to do is probably a few years away, or likely 10 years away from your exit. So just be prepared to be on that journey. So make it legible, express clearly your presentation, your points. And as someone said, it has to be understood even by a distracted teenager. Your presentation should be understood even by a distracted teenager. So let's look at really simple elevator pitch from those companies. Airbnb is the first online marketplace that lets travelers book rooms with locals instead of hotels, right? In your whole sentence, you have the whole business model of that. You have the customers, who are the customers that will use the platform, and who are the competitors, and why is it better than competitors. Dropbox synchronizes files across you or your team's computers. Super simple, one sentence that easily can be understood by distracted teenagers or old people investors in the demo day conference room. Lumini is building X-ray vision for soldiers and first responders. Really simple elevator pitch that if you don't understand yourself, or you don't understand your idea, who will? I mean, you are the one, you are the best guy to put that single sentence on your startup for other people to understand. Meeting tips number two, when you start your presentation, say that it will take 15-20 minutes. Typically aim for 30 minutes meeting. 15-20 minutes is the time when you will present your full slide deck, and don't be pulled into those questions that investors going to ask. Don't lose flow. Stick to the script and answer 2-3 questions per slide. Don't get dragged into the whole discussion about what are who are your competitors, or what is your competitive advantage. Just don't argue with them. Be precise and share things that you don't know. And it's okay that you don't know certain things. Come back to your team, ask them. Come back later with your investor. You can always follow up after the meeting, and be honest and don't lie. I mean, once you put anything that is suspicious, they will pretty much discover that earlier or later on. Most of the VCs, they know each other. In Poland, especially in Silicon Valley, even more, they can just grab a phone and ask you a few things. So what are the questions to ask investors? Really be prepared that it's gonna take in process. So what are the next steps in the process, right? So know before what are next meetings they are planning, and what concerns do you have. It's important to know, does the VC lead this round, or they will follow, and ask about how the VC, if they are good VCs, they will have the back office which will help you throughout your journey in building your company. Follow-on meetings, angels, they likely just want to get more info. If they will invite you for another meeting, it's going to be all about talking and get to know you better. If the VC or micro VC will invite you for another meeting, it's likely that they want to meet more people. They want you to meet their limited partner or their consulting partner. In that case, just present to them the same pitch. If you are not sure what's the purpose of the follow-on meeting, just ask. Don't ever show up to a meeting without knowing its purpose. Ask them. Be prepared for that meeting. So the key takeaways are these: always do your homework and be prepared. Be flexible, but don't lose flow or control of the meeting. Ask questions, ask for next steps, and do follow up after each meeting. To explain things that you don't know that can be discussed later on.